Hello everyone, today's video is my favorite video to film every month. It is my palette Roundup, and this is gonna be for the month of July. I can't express how shocked I am that July is here and gone. This is my favorite video to film every month. I get to reminisce on all the eyeshadow looks I did this past month. I also like to see and keep track of the amount of uses each palette gets. At the end of the year, I will do a whole video about ranking my eyeshadow palette collection in order by use, and I'm very excited for that video. A lot of people like ranking videos, but this actually has statistics behind it. I'm going to start with the stack of palettes I only used once. I have 10 of those, and I'm going to admit half of these I don't really remember the looks I did with them. I know my Too Faced Italian Spritz palette. If you hear any noises in the background that sound kind of disgusting, it is my dog playing in the room with me. But I did a look with this in the beginning of the month, and I think I stayed in this realm here. It's a pretty simple look. I should probably stay over here. It was a very simple look. I really enjoy this for the summer, and I haven't had it pulled out for the summer, so I really should be getting onto that. Another summer palette that I have only used once, and I'm really hoping in the month of August I can get some good quality use on this, and it is my Odin's Eye Sea Talk palette. I only did the one look with this palette, and it was primarily with these darker blues. And I did earlier in the month, which I also have another Odin's Eye palette that's older, comparing the old formula with new formula. The shimmers now I feel are more flaky and they're more dry than what they used to be. I like Odin's Eye, but I don't think they're my favorite indie brand by any means. But I only did one look with this bad boy. In preparation for my Sydney Grace Christmas in July sale video, I will leave that link down below. I used my Sydney Grace singles. I am not showing you guys the looks that I did actively in a video, so I will leave my Sydney Grace video down below if you want to see the look I did. These are the shades I currently own from Sydney Grace. I did order the mystery bags, which hopefully will be here soon, and I did order 2 more palettes from AOA, Shop Miss A. I used my Sydney Grace singles once, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna get used more often next month. I pulled out my Odin's Eye Alva palette. This one is still, I think, my favorite Odin's Eye palette. It is just me in a palette. You have all of these rose gold pinky tones. I have a really nice dip in this shade right here. These shimmers, like, there's different formulas and they're just buttery. They're not the same as they are now, but I did a really simple basic look with this, how I normally always do. So never mad at the Alva palette. I used my Gila palette, but I did a very, very easy, beautiful green look with this palette. I mean, that's really most of what you can do. Really enjoy this palette, but I only did one look with this. Talking about green, I think I only used this the one time to hit my panning goal I had, but it is my Natasha Denona Yucca palette. This palette is just absolutely stunning, and I just love and adore it. And I did a very simple like green look. I think I just used these 3 shades. This was a very lovely and easy palette to use. I'm glad I bought this palette. A extremely easy, simple, warm toned look. I used my KAB Cosmetics Day and Night palette. Like, this is one of those like underrated palettes in my collection. You have some amazing colors in here and a lot of warm tones. I've been using it quite a bit these last couple months. I believe you saw it last month, but you're only gonna see it once in this rotation. It's not a rotation, I just reach for whatever I so please. These next 2 I'm going to talk about together. As I am filming this, it is not up yet, but I did a whole video about me going to a Hoyser concert, and I actually did my makeup in that video for the concert, and to match one of his album covers. So I used both of these in that look. I will not show you the look here, but I used my ColourPop of Quartz. This is the first time I ever used this palette this year, and I only used one shade. So a lot of people on Instagram, I'm thinking like two people right off the bat on my head, they love this palette, they use it quite often. I just can't get down with it. I think it's the tones. I really think it's the tones. Then my Garden of Juvia's, I use the yellows in this palette. I love and adore this color story. You could probably create a very similar look that I have on right now with this palette. This is going to be in an upcoming 3 looks 1 palette video, so hope you enjoy that one. But this is just stunning, beautiful. They're like pastels, but they still have an oomph to them. Some pastels are so light you can't do anything with it. These are beautiful. The last palette I only used once is my Eloise the Queen palette. This Eloise palette has been like on a mental chopping block. Like, it's still on the fence if I wanted to keep it or not. I did a very, very bold, fiery look, and I was using primarily these 2 colors. They're like my least favorite in the whole palette. They're the ones I don't really reach for, although this shade is stunning, I'm not gonna lie. But it's intense of a look. I also think I look a little weird, like my eyes are all weird. My eyes look a little funky in the picture, but we're here for the eyeshadow, and I really enjoyed the eyeshadow. So far this palette is sticking around in my collection. This next palette I only used twice. I only have 1 palette in this 2 uses category. It is my Diverroon. I always mess up this saying of this. The Gloomy Gardens palette. Probably my favorite palette that I bought this year. And look at this color story. I did use this for that Hoyser video, so you are gonna see 1 look only with this. And I use like these oranges and like this purple. Like my favorite color story to use with this palette. It's very, very versatile. And I just really love this palette. I used 2 palettes twice. The first one, I'm not gonna show you any of the looks. I did a 3 looks 1 palette video with this, and it is the Moira Fun is in the Air Moira Land series palette. I did a 3 looks video. Again, this was like on a mental chopping block. But my last look that I did in that video, it was the yellow and the blue, made me fall in love with this palette all over again. It was so creative and so summery and magical to me. So this is definitely staying in the collection. I did that 3 looks 1 palette video to give it yet another chance, and it's withholding that chance, so it's still here and I really enjoy it. But all 3 of those looks are in that video, and it's going to be linked down below for your pleasure. When I was getting all my palettes for this video, and I'm like, really, this video was within this month? Like, it feels so long ago. I have no concept of time. The last palette I only used 3 times was my Wander's Escape palette. This is like the epiphany of summertime. You got beautiful summer packaging, which reminds me of Survivor. For some odd reason, it just does. And this is the color story, and I only have 1 little pan, but this is the color story. The 2 looks that I did that were very, very simple, I enjoyed them. The 1 look that I did with this blue shade, I did not enjoy. This blue looks like it would be so pretty in the palette. And I know DW or Dub's Beauty Diary was like talking to me about the shadow, and it's not very good. Like, it literally looks like this on your eyes. Like, you don't see this when you have it all over your lids. It never turns out like this, and I always get disappointed. So in my look, to be able to hit my No Pan Left Behind, all I did was use it on the lower lash line. It just looked dark. Even though I tried to use a blue liquid liner to pull in some of those blues, it still wasn't really pulling in any of those blues. So Other than this shade, I love the rest of the palette. Last two palettes I used 4 times each. I'm super excited to show you the looks that I did with these. This first one is my ColourPop Cabana Club. You're only gonna see 3 looks. I did a palette bingo with this at the beginning of the month. This is another one that screams summer to me, and I used all the shades. And one of the looks was this very simple warm neutral look. I don't think this is a palette in the ColourPop collection anymore. I think they got rid of this palette a long time ago, but it is absolutely beautiful. Also, I did a look and I wore it in a video. What video was that? I wore it in a video and I do not remember what video it was, but I used this as a liner, and then I used my Danessa Myricks like chrome flakes on top of it. Oh, that looks so pretty. Last palette, and I am still not done like testing it, although I know that I love this palette so far. I really enjoy the Juvia's Place formula, and when Brianna on Instagram was gonna sell this, I hooked onto it very quickly. This is the Color Story. It is absolutely stunning. I did a purple look, I did a green look, I did a really simple like orange look, I did one with the pinks. You can't go wrong. I think I did a purple look. I don't remember all the looks. You'll see them on the screen. I really enjoy all of these colors. I'm a color person. Like, I wore this to work. I got a compliment on my eyeshadow. I am in a new, like, I did start my new job. I'm in a whole new department, so these people like don't see me on a daily basis or haven't seen me on a daily basis. So like, they know I do makeup, but they don't know the extent of it. So I do something different literally every day, and I got complimented on my eyeshadow today. It made me so happy. I am so glad I have this palette, use this palette. I am not quite done doing my No Pan Left Behind on this. We will soon. And I just love and adore this palette. But that is all of my palettes. Those are all of my looks. I have a whole playlist with these palette roundups down in my description box. I have been tracking my eyeshadow palettes since 2022, so I have numbers from 22, 23, and now gonna be 24. So I've been doing this for a little while. I kind of know the type of usage I get on my eyeshadow palettes. Very interesting, but again, I'm a little bit of a numbers geek. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more makeup content. And I love and appreciate all of you guys, and I shall see you guys next time.